Hello.
Hey, Addison, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Um, do you need help on a specific thing or are you just coming to math lab?
I do have a specific one.
Okay.
For the extra practice, the number 4, I tried doing it like 5 times. I don't know how to do it.
Okay. All right. And that was 2.7, correct?
Ma'am? Sorry.
That was on 2.7, the cross products one? In the book, page 123?
Oh, it's 127
127? Okay.
for the page number?
Yes, ma'am?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Which one is it again?
It's number 4.
What number? Number 4. Okay. So the perimeter P of a rectangle is given by the formula P. Can you see the screen? Is it writing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. L plus 2L plus 2W, where L is the length and W is the width. And you're supposed to solve the formula for the width. So that means to get W all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to subtract 2L from this side, which means I have to subtract 2L from the other side. And that gives me P minus 2L equals 2W. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 2.
Miss Sparks, are you on mute?
No? Can you not hear me? Can you not hear me, Mary? I wonder, Addison, could you tell her that you can hear me and see if she can hear you?
Can you hear me?
I am talking and others can hear me. So, okay, so that would leave us P minus 2L over 2 equals W. And then what you're supposed to do then is plug in the values at the right. You're supposed to use the rewritten formula to find the width of the rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would plug in 19.2 minus 2 times 7.2, right?
Mm-hmm.
All over 2.
Okay.
Is that what you did too?
Well, I didn't know if you were supposed to cross out the 2 since they cancel out or something like that.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. Well, technically, the above the numerator that's considered a grouping. So that's a value. So you can't really separate that out.
Oh.
Believe it or not. Oh, there's my dog.
I can hear you now.
Okay, good. So then that would be 19.2 minus 14.4 equals, so it was 4 .8 divided by 2. Did you get that far?
No.
So I have the width as 2.4.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, guys, about my dog. I'm going to put her out. I don't know. Brookie, you left me. Yes. No. Yes. That's why I didn't want you to leave me, so that you could put her out. I know. I know. I told the kids, I was like, I'm so sorry about my dog. I don't know. She does not like it when I get on math lab. She just wants me to have, I guess I'm supposed to pay. I don't know. I think she finds it bizarre that I'm talking to a screen. So she thinks there's something wrong with her mom. My mother's talking to a computer.
What's the answer
She's
to
lost
that?
it. 2.4.
Okay.
Did y'all follow that?
Yes, ma'am.
Addison, did that help?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. I mean, these are kind of, this is definitely more of an abstract lesson, but this really applies in sciences a lot. So it's really a very important lesson. It's just, you know, one you kind of have to work at a little bit harder, you know. Was that the only one you struggled with? And who else? Is there anybody else who would like me to start from the very beginning and go through all 4 of the guided practice, which is fine. I absolutely can do that.
Miss Sparks, can you do number 1?
Absolutely. I'm trying to pull it, open my book so that I can have it on the screen. So.
Oh, you want need help with that? I'll show you. Okay, click this screen. You need help? Okay, you click that. No. No, you click that.
It takes me a long time to erase. I'm sorry. Miss Richardson has some kind of trick, and I need to ask her what it is.
Like an elephant.
Okay, number 1. A minus BX equals C. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to solve the literal equation for the letter X and then use that solution to solve the specific equation.
Okay.
So what we'll do first is solve for X. And so we use all of the same principles that we've done before. Start by getting A to the other side because you have to do PEMDAS in reverse. So you want to, you've got to start. Basically, another way to think of it is kind of working your way toward the variable.
Okay.
So we would subtract A from both sides. And then that's going to leave us with the opposite of BX equals C minus A. And now, to get X all by itself, it's being multiplied by the opposite or negative B. So we would divide both sides by negative B. C minus A all over the opposite of B. So if you look at this equation, which is 12 minus 5x equals -3, and you look at our equation that we have up above, and we're supposed to use the newly written. So 12 is our A, -3 is our C. So we're going to go X equals, and then, and a lot of times what's helpful when you're asked to do something like this, you could do A equals 12, B equals -5, and C equals -3. And then that might make it a little easier. You know what I'm saying? To go ahead and write down your values. So you would have -3 minus 12 all over -5. So that's equal to -15 over -5. So X equals 3.
Hold on, wait. Oh, okay. So X equals what? I can't see it.
I'm so sorry. Let me scroll up a little bit. X equals 3. And actually, on this, we can take this off since it's accounted for in the equation.
Can you do 2, please?
Absolutely. I'm just waiting. Has everybody gotten that one? And I can start erasing. Is there anybody that needs me? And if somebody's typing to me, I need somebody else to read it to me because I actually can't see on the, if anybody's texting me something. So if somebody's willing to speak up for me, that would be great if somebody asks a question.
Okay.
I may have to erase a little bit more once I get down below. We have AX equals BX plus C. And we have to solve for X. So what I'm going to do on that is I've got 2 X terms, but I can't really combine those.
So would you subtract B?
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually, because I can't combine them because I don't really know what the value of A and B are, what I'm going to actually do is subtract BX because I have to keep them together. I'm going to subtract BX from both sides, and that's going to leave me AX minus BX equals C. And now what I'm going to do is actually using the distributive property, I'm going to take the X out and kind of undistribute. And I'm going to be left with A minus B equals C. And now what I'm going to do is divide both sides by A minus B. And that's going to leave me with x equals c over a minus b. Now what we'll do is take that equation and
Wait, I'm
figure
confused.
out why. Tell me
So you
where
went
I
from
lost you.
ax minus bx to x plus c a minus b?
A minus b. Yes, ma'am. Okay, because if remember the distributive property, if I were asking you, if I put this problem on a test, just right here, that part, and I said, you know, I wanted you to distribute that, you would have to distribute that x to both the a and the negative b, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so working that in reverse is what I've done.
Uh,
Okay, to undo the distributive property, I took the x out. I divided both ax and bx. I took the x out. And then I was left with x times a minus b equals c.
okay.
And then to get x all by itself, I divided both sides by a minus b. Okay?
Okay.
And then I'm left with this equation at the bottom here. And then the original equation was that we have to substitute these in for 11x equals 6x plus 20. So what they want you to do then, a would equal what? If you're looking at this equation right here, what
11.
does a equal? 11. Good job. And b equals what?
6.
It's not a very...
Negative.
Yes.
Negative.
It's actually, it's just a regular 6. It's just my handwriting is
Oh,
terrible.
okay.
Sorry. And then c equals what?
20.
Good job. So I'll take all of those numbers and plug them back in. So I have 20 over 11 minus 6, which equals 20 over 5, which equals 4. And one of the reasons that they have you do this is they're in science. And also later on in this year's math, which we're going to get to that, I believe we do that more on like number 3 of the examples is a little bit more of what we're going to be doing in the next 2 or 3 chapters. But the reason why they have you do this is you all should be able to take any equation, whether there's numbers or letters or whatever there's in, and you should be able to find, you know, if they said to solve for something, you should be able to isolate that one variable and get it all by itself, no matter where it is in the equation, by using all of the properties and principles that we've used thus far in the multi-step equations and working PEMDAS in reverse. And that's the principle behind this.
Okay, that makes sense.
Any more questions on these? We're going to be working on these tomorrow in class. I can continue going through the guided practice. Also, does anybody want me to do that? I know I did number 4 earlier, but I don't even mind working that again if some of you showed up after I had completed it. I'm sorry?
Can you work through number 3?
Absolutely. Be happy to. And that was on page 127. And this is for sure what you're going to be doing a lot of. This next. Write 5x plus 4y equals 20 so that y is a function of x. So what we want to do is get y all by itself. Okay, that's what we're trying to do when we're saying y is a function of x. I'm sorry?
Would you subtract 4?
Not yet, because you have to work your way toward that variable. And 4 isn't being added to y, it's being multiplied by y. And to undo multiplication is division. So that's a little further down on the list as far as when we're working PEMDAS in reverse, we've got to add and subtract first, right? So when you're doing these, you want to work toward the variable. Okay?
Okay.
So you've got to kind of start on the outside and work your way toward that variable. You can't just go directly to the variable. There's lots of things going on around it. So what else is being done to y? Besides being multiplied by 4, what else is being done? What's happening here?
They're multiplying.
Well, 5 times x, they're definitely multiplying, but
adding.
how is it? They're adding that to 4y, aren't they? So how do we undo addition?
Subtraction.
Good job. So we're going to subtract 5x, and whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. So that gets rid of that part. So now we're left with 4y equals 20 minus 5x. Now what's being done to y? When a number's right next to a variable.
Oh, you're multiplying.
When a number's like multiplying. Okay, so how do we undo multiplication?
Division.
Good job, division. So we're going to divide everything by 4. Okay, both sides of that equation. So good news is it gets rid of it over here. Okay, what is 20 divided by 4?
5.
Good job. And then you'll have this 5 over 4x. And now it's in function notation. It could also be written like this. Either way is correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Any other questions? Does anybody want me to do number 4 again? Did anybody show up late?
Number 4 again.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Who was that?
Annabella.
Hey, Annabella.
Hi.
Yes, I will be happy to.
Bye, Miss Sparks.
Bye, Mary. See you tomorrow in class. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay. The perimeter P of a rectangle is given by the formula P equals 2L plus 2W, where L is the length and W is the width. Solve the formula for the width W. So what they're asking us to do is get this W all by itself. Okay? So the first thing, I have to do PEMDAS in reverse. So I'm going to, once again, kind of thinking of it this way, I want to work my way to get that W by itself. So I kind of have to start, here and work my way that way, because I cannot start with this number right here because that's the multiplication part. So I have to look for addition and subtraction first because I'm unpacking the order of operations. Okay, so is there anything being added or subtracted to 2W? And that would be this right here. So I'm going to subtract 2L from both sides. And that gives me P minus 2L equals 2W. And now W is being multiplied by 2. So to undo multiplication, you divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And that's going to leave me with P minus 2L all over 2 equals W. So now what they're asking us to do is to use the rewritten formula to find the width of the rectangle. So I know that P equals 19.2, and I know the length equals 7.2. So I'm going to go with 19.2 minus 2 times 7.2 all over 2. And so then that's going to be 19.2 minus 14.4 divided by 2. And then that leaves me with 4.8 divided by 2, which equals 2.4. So the width equals 2.4.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? How's everybody doing on the mazes?
Pretty good at them all. Done.
Okay,
Pretty
good.
good.
Good. Anybody else have any questions? Eli, do you have questions on the proportions?
What about yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The V. On a
You want me to pull it up? Will that help?
I'm on the multi-step equations maze.
The multi-step equation maze. Okay.
The last two. Or last two problems.
Okay. Let me see. I'm hoping I can find it. Hang on just 1 second. I'm really sorry. I apologize.
You're all right.
Thank you. Oh, I was like, I'm in the wrong folder. That would help to be in the right one. Is it the one with frogs on it by chance?
No, ma'am. It's the Frankenstein.
Oh, the Frankenstein. Okay, so there was a riddle and a maze.
You want me to just read the problem to you, or read the problem to you?
Oh, bless your heart. You're so sweet. That's really sweet. I appreciate it. It took me a minute, but I got it. But thank you for offering. That's so sweet. That might have been quicker. Is it one of these? At the very bottom, L and F?
It's on the back. It's on the back.
On the back. So, oh, it was the maze. Yay. There we go. One of these?
Yeah, those are the right ones right there.
All right.
Those are the right ones right there.
Okay. All right.
The v plus 1 equals 1 plus 8 equals 1 plus 8.
8v? Okay. All right. So what I would do on this one is subtract 8v. Oh. And then that's going to give me negative 9v plus 1 equals 1. And then subtract 1. Which is going to give me, which is going to give me negative 9v equals 0. Is that what you got?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I can, what did you get?
I had already erased it.
Oh, okay. Well, it's going to give me v equals 0 for sure. But on this particular one of the reasons that you wouldn't be this would equal, and if you're working them all out, I'm really, really proud of you, and that's amazing. It's still going to end up to be 0, and I don't know if you can see my writing on that very well, but there is no 0 that would take you anywhere, but the correct part of the maze would take you this way, and that wouldn't have been one of the ones that you would have had to have done. But kudos to you for doing all of them on the worksheet. I mean, that's amazing for the extra practice. But here is the answer key. So if you would have started here at the start and your answer would have been 2, and then you would have done this problem, and so you would have gone down, and so you kind of would have done this. But were you just trying to work all of them for extra practice? Which is amazing if that's what you were doing. I'm really proud of you.
Yes, we did all of them.
Bless your heart. And so that would have been really confusing on that one because you were going to get 0 no matter, how you worked that one. But you usually just take the answer to the problem and then move to the next one, and then take that answer and it moves you down to the next one. And this way it kind of makes it a self-checking type of assessment, so that you know you're kind of on the right path. Because if you don't get one of those answers that's there, you're like, you know that you need to do something else. But if you would have gotten down here to that one, no matter how you slice that one, you're going to end up with 0 on that one, because when you subtract, and I always do try to get my variable on the left, but when you subtract 8v from both sides, you're going to get a negative 9b plus v plus 1 equals 1. And then you subtract that 1 from both sides, you're going to end up with 0. And when you divide negative 9 by that, no matter what you divide 0 by, you're still going to end up with 0. So, but good. So that would have been the correct answer for that one. But I can actually, if you need me to, I can send you guys the answer key to this, if that will help. I don't think they do. I don't think they do the one, like, I know that y'all went to a lot of trouble to do the others, but I don't think the answers are on those.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you for working so hard. I'm really proud of you. Is there any other questions that I can answer?
What about on the solving proportions?
The solving proportions? Okay, let's pull that up. Do you want this one or the one prior to that? This one?
I think it's
You
the
working
other
on
one.
this? The other one? Right here?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Do you want me to start at start, or is there a particular one you wanted me to work? Or would you like to see the answer key?
I got the
So that you know
to
what
the left side.
Okay.
So where did you need help?
This is kind of the pattern that it takes. And I don't mind working them for you so that you can see them. But if you can see that, I think you might even be able to screenshot that if you'd like. But I certainly don't mind sending it to you either, so that you have the answer key in front of you. And you just let me know which one you want me to work, and I'm happy to do that. Because just having the answer isn't really going to help you know how to work them. But this is the pattern for which the maze would have taken.
Could you do the far right bottom corner?
Far right bottom corner. I'm going to guess that's 8 over 2x minus 1. That one?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to switch over to here and erase this stuff, because I want to make sure that you can clearly see it. And so I want to be able to write a little bigger than that particular PDF would allow me, because I want to make sure that it's clear what the steps are. Because when the proportions get to be where there's actually like a small, that's a binomial expression, I want to make sure that you understand, exactly what the steps are. Okay, so on this one, What you always want to do when you're working with these types of equations is you want to make sure that you're handling that 2x minus 1 as if it's just a number all by itself. It's like it's an entity all of its own. So it has to be treated that way. So when you do your cross multiplication here, you're going to do your 4 times 2x minus 1 equals 24. So I multiplied the 8 times 3, and I multiplied the 4 times the 2x minus 1. But that 2x minus 1 has to go in parentheses. And then this 4 needs to be distributed to both things inside the parentheses. And so that's going to be 4 times 2x, which gives me 8x. And then 4 times a negative 1 is a negative 4 equals 24. And now I'm going to add 4 to both sides in order to get rid of my 4 there. Try and get my variable all by itself. That gives me a 28 on this side. So this is going to be 8x equals 28. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And then 8 goes into 28 3 times. And 3 times 8 is 24. 28 minus 4 is 4. And 8 goes into 40 5 times. So my answer is x equals 3.5.
We understand now. That makes more sense.
Oh, okay. Well, great. I'm so glad. And if you need me, even after we get off of Math Lab, please don't hesitate to email me. I will actually work the problem out on paper and try to write the explanation next to it, and I'll email you a picture. Okay?
Thank you.
Don't hesitate to reach out. No problem. Y'all have a blessed evening.